Look, I know your wrists are thin, and no matter how much you train, you're never going to make them bigger. But honestly, you're actually lucky that your wrists are thin. Why? Think about a guy who was born with naturally huge wrists. His wrists are already massive on their own. For his overall forearm to look just as huge, he has to pack on a ton of extra muscle mass. But you already start with small wrists. That means you don't need anywhere near as much muscle to make your whole forearm look huge. In other words, your forearms are going to look impressive a lot faster than his. On top of that, if your forearms are weak, you'll never be able to build great biceps, chest, or back. What does forearm strength have to do with all of that? We'll get into it later in this video. So, if you're not training your forearms right now, it's time to start. Because even if you build an amazing body, a t-shirt is just going to cover most of it up. But your forearms are one body part that's visible all the time, no matter what. And even if you're sitting at 20 to 25% body fat, training your forearms and getting those veins popping can still give you that aesthetic look. Now, like I said earlier, your wrists are always going to stay thin. That part is completely true, because your wrists are mostly made of bone. There's just not enough muscle there for training to make them grow. But your forearms, they're absolutely packed with muscle. So we can definitely train them and make them grow. And trust me, if your forearms look aesthetic, you're going to turn heads, your crush, and honestly, everyone else too. Alright, before we start training forearms, let's quickly understand this muscle group. Your forearms aren't made up of just one single muscle. There are actually multiple muscles working together in there. But don't stress about it. You can train all of these muscles comfortably in just 15 to 20 minutes. Getting straight to it, one of the main muscles in your forearm is the brachii. This single muscle is responsible for 70 to 80% of that aesthetic forearm look. So this is the muscle we need to focus on the most. But there are other muscles we need to pay attention to as well. Like your wrist flexors and these help you bend and extend your wrists. And then there are two smaller muscles, the flexor digitorum and extensor carpi. These muscles are responsible for your grip strength. Now you understand the muscles in your forearm and what each one does. Next, let's talk about how to train each muscle for its maximum growth potential. As I mentioned, the brachioradialis is the muscle responsible for giving your forearms that maximum aesthetic look. It's the muscle sitting on top of your forearm, right near your elbow. To train this muscle, all you need is a pair of dumbbells and two types of grip. One is your neutral grip and the other is your pronated grip. Let's start with the neutral grip. For this, your best exercise is going to be the hammer curl. Grip the dumbbell tight and slowly bring it upward. Build tension in the muscle as you do it. Then slowly lower the dumbbell back down. Release that tension you built in the muscle, slowly and under control. Second is your pronated grip. And if you're short on time, always prioritize this grip over the neutral one. Or, if you want maximum growth potential, you can do both. For the pronated grip, flip the dumbbell over and perform a reverse curl. Trust me, try this one out. Your forearms are going to be on fire. Coming up, I'll also give you a full forearm workout split. So keep watching the rest of this video. Next, let's talk about the flexor and extensor muscles. These muscles are responsible for bending and extending your forearm. And if you want that aesthetic, veiny look, you absolutely need to train these muscles too. The best universal exercise for training these muscles is the wrist roller. Rolling the roller upward trains your and rolling it back down slowly and under control trains your flex. And if your gym doesn't have a wrist roller, just grab a stick, tie a rope to it, attach a brick, and start rolling. While doing this exercise, never hold the roller directly in front of your body if you want to feel it maximally in your forearms. Otherwise, your shoulders are going to take over the movement. Hold the roller slightly lower than your body. Bend your elbows just a little and then perform the exercise. Next, let's talk about the flexor digitorum and extensor carpi. These muscles are responsible for your grip strength. You want it so that when you shake someone's hand, they immediately feel like you mean business. So don't make the mistake of ignoring these muscles. Training these muscles is actually super simple, and the easiest way is with a cheap hand gripper. But if you don't even have a gripper, here's what you can do. Just hang. Do a dead hang. Dead hangs alone will significantly boost your grip strength. And if anyone doesn't know what a dead hang is, there's really nothing complicated about it. Just grab onto anything you can find and hang from it. Hang there for as long as your grip and your willpower can handle. Now listen, your forearms aren't just for show. They have a massive effect on the rest of your workouts too. If your forearms are weak, you won't be able to train your biceps to true failure. On top of that, a lot of people complain that during back day, their forearms give out before their back even gets tired. That's a clear sign of weak forearms. And with weak forearms, you can never train your back to true failure. And if you're not training your back to failure, your back is never going to grow. Beyond that, a lot of people feel elbow pain while doing bench press or any other pressing movement. This is also a sign of weak forearms. It means your brachioradialis hasn't been trained and developed properly. So the situation is pretty simple. If your forearms are weak, it's going to affect every single one of your workouts. So let me give you a 15-minute forearm workout split you can do right after your regular workout. If you're a beginner, do this split twice a week. For the first exercise, we'll do 4 sets of dumbbell curls with 12 reps. Then, after a 1-minute break, do 3 sets of wrist curls, also 12 reps. And for grip strength, you can use a gripper or do a dead hang. You can use the gripper anytime throughout your day, at school, college, or just sitting at home. Then, on the second split of the week, we'll swap out the hammer curl for a reverse curl. Everything else stays exactly the same. Your forearms aren't a huge muscle group, so they don't need a ton of time to recover. That's why, if you're a beginner, you can do this split twice a week. Once you've been doing this for a while and you feel like your recovery is getting solid, you can bump it up to 3 or 4 times a week. And if you've been hitting the gym long enough, you can even do a 10-minute version of this daily after your workout. Just make sure that whatever exercise you're doing, you focus on form, full range of motion, and staying consistent.